Zach is back, baby. After they tried Tim Boyle, after they tried Trevor Siemian, they realized maybe we should put Zach Wilson back on the field. This was coming since Monday when the reporting emerged that the Jets wanted to go back to him, but Zach Wilson was reluctant, and that's been much discussed and debated and analyzed this week. The bottom line is Zach Wilson is back. I see no reluctance in him. I see a desire to go out there and prove himself. Look, this is your resume for next year. We talked about that, Chris, yesterday, about where do you find your motivation when you're a player on a crap team. What you personally do the rest of the way becomes the thing that will make you attractive to your own team or some other team next year. This is his opportunity. If he's not going to be a Jet next year, this is his opportunity to prove to someone else, maybe we should give this guy the second chance. That could be the thing that turns his career around because he had so many negative forces conspiring against him in New York. So he should view this as an opportunity for himself to lay the foundation to have a great second act somewhere else next year.
That's right. You know, he's just this is why, you know, like you talked about. Yeah. You know, they're still being filmed, you're still being evaluated, still teams are looking at you. And it doesn't matter if you're not in the playoff picture or you are in the playoff picture. And Zach Wilson, yeah. I mean, again, he's going to be a guy that, you know, is going to be coveted to a degree as a second or third stringer no matter where he goes because of his talent, right? I could totally see an Andy Reid bringing in Zach Wilson and making him a third stringer for a year, right? Maybe behind Blaine Gabbert one more year. And then, okay, he's comfortable in the offense. Now we make him the backup. Then we show everybody how awesome he is in preseason games. And, whoa, look at our backup. He's awesome. You know, if he does have to play in a regular season game, he, you know, can hopefully show his true talents and be rebuilt by a guy like Andy Reid. We'll see where it goes. But I do know one thing. He was great there in that interview, said the right things. The Jets, by far, have their best chance of winning a football game with Zach Wilson. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even close. I mean, again, he got, you know, the Chargers game. They came off a 3-game win streak. He played a Chargers game where he didn't play that bad. They didn't lose because of him in that football game. It was ugly offense and whatever else, but it wasn't like he made dumb interceptions or do that. He got strip sacked. I understand that. And one of them, certainly, he held the ball too long. The Raiders game, yeah. Of course, kept them in it. Their defense was allowed not to fold in the second half and let Josh Jacobs just run all over them. But he threw an interception late in the game, so we got to blame the whole game on Zach Wilson, right? And then, are you kidding me? The last 2 weeks, they're not even capable of getting first downs. I mean, they can't do anything, right? And then the treatment of him and whether he was reluctant to go out there or not, he should be reluctant. He gets blamed for everything. It doesn't matter. Defense gets run over against the Raiders, blame Zach Wilson. It doesn't matter. Nobody even evaluates the crappy throws and decisions Siemian or Boyle made the last 2 weeks. If Zach Wilson made those, it would have been 75 people dissecting how stupid it was.
Chris,
so it's crazy.
Chris, don't you think that has something to do with the fact that he was the second overall pick in the draft?
Sure.
A guy.
How much are we going to beat it into the ground, though? We know. Like, okay.
But it's New York.
I know, but everybody.
But
so the New York, they make all these excuses for everybody else with this Boyle and Siemian. Man, the offense isn't God. They're making excuses. It's bullcrap. No, they target him more than they should. All right. They don't care because they want a headline.
I think with Boyle and Siemian, they just accept that it's going to be ass. They just don't care.
Well,
I don't think it's, there was no outcry when Tim Boyle got cut. There's no push for Trevor Siemian.
They were crying for him to play, Mike. They were crying for him to play up here. They let the Jets fans run the organization too much. And most of them are idiots, the Jet fans. Most of them are. Sorry.
Robert Salah on going back to Zach Wilson. Play the sound.
I've always believed he was the best quarterback in terms of giving us a chance to win. Tim and Trevor trying to spark the offense and all that, and those two are very talented quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, Zach gives us the best chance to win.
And why did you always thought he gave you guys the best chance to win?
For sure.
Then why do you bench him?
Well, when things aren't going good, obviously we haven't been scoring, trying anything to get the offense going, and we've tried everything.
Every once in a while in a press conference, Robert Salah flashes a blank stare that I think residing behind it is something like this. Man, I wish I could tell you all what I really think. I wish I could tell you all some more about what really goes on here. I wish I could tell you how much Woody Johnson has been up my butt with do this and do that and do this and do that. Now, again, I don't know, but I just feel like in his demeanor, it just kind of oozes through that, I'm trying. Guys, I'm trying. I didn't want to bench Zach Wilson. I was told to bench Zach Wilson, that kind of thing. Maybe I wanted Joe Flacco, but I was told I couldn't have Joe Flacco. So it's a friggin' mess. It really is a mess.
It's a tough situation.
And I think that it's gotten so bad, and there's still 5 games to play. It could get so much worse that it affects next year. I think it's already affecting.
You've heard me
next
saying
year.
that.
And
yeah.
I fully expect Aaron Rodgers to play his annual game of, I'm going to go sit in a dark closet, I'm going to have some ayahuasca, I'm going to eat some magic mushrooms before I decide whether to play again next year, and draw that out into a whole thing and hold the Jets hostage the way he's held the Packers hostage. And maybe he does start looking around for some other alternative where he can go somewhere and be the king and get them to bring in all of his friends, because now he's starting to get some pushback from the Packers, or from the Jets, about, his desire to basically run the show. Maybe there's some other team out there. I don't know that there will be after what happened this year, but I just feel like this thing potentially is going to screw up next year for the Jets if they don't get it straightened out between now and week 18.
You've been hearing me say that, right? In the viewing room on Sunday, all of that, right? Where but by all due accounts, a few weeks ago, you went, yeah, it's all good. But it's teetering on the point of penalties, mismanagement of game, mismanagement of media, talking or texting Joe Beningo, who doesn't even work for the Fan anymore, WFN, and then he's coming up and reading texts from Robert Salah, right? There's the way the offenses look, personal fouls, the Hail Mary at the end of the half. It's becoming to a point where, I worry that Aaron Rodgers won't even be able to save this formula. That's where they got to fight for something here down the stretch. It doesn't look good. And and I think to your point with Rodgers, I don't think this will be a year where he goes on the ayahuasca retreat. I think he's going to try to right away go, I want to play, and he's going to try to say, I want this group here. This is why he came here, because he can play king with this group. And there's not going to be anywhere else out there with king, to be the king. And, and of course a new regime comes in, you're rolling the dice on, I don't know what's going to be in here. So I don't know what kind of offense that'll be. And now I got to learn to deal with them. Things are just the way he likes them in New York right now. Wow. So that's where I don't expect.
But there are cracks.
I know. There's cracks.
There are cracks. We played it yesterday.
Yeah.
He's not happy with the leaks about Zach Wilson. He called it chicken shit. And Robert Salah had to respond to that yesterday. I don't think there's an issue with the organization. I don't think there's a problem with the leaks, whatever. But it's the first tangible sign of stress in the relationship, and he's not even playing. It's because he continues to be in the public eye. Look, there's a course to be taught here somewhere on the right way and the wrong way to handle a season-ending Week 1 injury, and I don't know that it's been good for anybody that Rodgers continues to be in the spotlight talking every single week. He's allowed to. He's got every right to. I just don't know that it's in his best interest or the team's best interest for him to be constantly talking when he's not playing.
Right.
I think it creates a distraction for the team,
Agreed.
And it's created an issue now that they're going to have to deal with. This is part of the reason why I think 2024 has been undermined. Here's Wilson from yesterday, finally getting a chance to respond. You know how I feel about this. I think the Athletic should have given him a chance to chime in before they initially reported this thing that can't be put back in the bottle now. Here's Zach Wilson 2 days later with his press conference addressing the report from the Athletic that he was reluctant to return to action.
Zach, there was a report, I'm sure you're aware of, on Monday that said you had expressed some reluctance about becoming the starter again. Is there any truth to that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I love the guys in this locker room, and I would do anything. And I think anytime you have an opportunity to step on this field, you need to take advantage of it.
Is it possible you maybe in a conversation with someone in a building made an offhand comment that could have been construed as you being reluctant?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I believe, for whatever reason, that when things go bad like this. But I know this locker room and me have a great relationship, and I've never once said that to anybody in this locker room that I wouldn't want to play. And so that's why I think we have such a good backing is everybody knows I care about this team. Everyone knows I'm going to do everything I can for the guys in this locker room, no matter the situation.
The key answer there was, I don't think so. You either know or you don't know. If you said something that would suggest you don't want to play, you would know that you said it or didn't say it. And I'm not trying to be critical of him. I just think that this gets back to the original question of whether or not it should have even been reported without reaching out to him or the team. And this is the world we live in now. We got to get engagements. We got to get retweets. We got to get subscriptions to The Athletic. So let's push this out there. Damn the torpedoes. The hell with the consequences. Who cares if it's right or wrong? Someone told us. We're hearing it. I don't know that it's right or wrong. I'm hearing it, so let's just put it out there, even if it's inaccurate. And I think that's what happened. The guy's frustrated, like millions of employees are in every shape and size of industry. And you say something in frustration that you don't mean, but you're just frustrated. Everybody in that organization is frustrated, and everybody is going to say things they don't mean. And all it takes is one person to go run and tell, and you get this mess. I think that's it. And when he says, I don't think so, he's thinking, I must have said something that someone misconstrued or took me seriously when I was just blowing off some steam. And, man, I wish I would have had a chance to give my side of this before I get painted with the brush of somebody who refuses to play football.
Yeah, I agree with you. Agree. It does feel like something like that happened. At the same time, I wouldn't fault him if he said those things anyways. Like, hey, we're thinking, we're thinking about going back to you. Oh, are you guys? He would have been every bit in his right to go. Are you guys gonna blame everything on me? Is it so? If I go back in there, you're gonna blame it all on me? Everything that goes wrong. Josh Jacobs runs for a 60-yard run up the middle. Hey, Zach, it's your fault. I mean, so he was all in his right to say that. Daddy, alone, again.
Daddy, what did that man say?
Yeah.
What was that word?
Yeah. Let alone to what you said, okay, is like with the going back to Rodgers talking, and I think a lot of people in the league look at Rodgers going, what is he doing talking that much? Rodgers verified that he said it. That's the problem when you talk a lot and you go on shows like that. I mean, they didn't leak a lie. Leaks are true. Rodgers said this leak stuff has to stop happening. That means there was truth behind the leak, right?
Even if it was, he made an offhand comment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. It was an underdeveloped truth.
Yeah, okay.
It was gossip.
Right.
It was hearsay.
Sure.
Whatever.
Maybe.
Let's take this and run with it because we're running a business here and we want to have a big splash so people will come subscribe to The Athletic. I mean, let's call it what it is.
Yeah. Listen, maybe. And again, maybe he said what I said. Maybe he was like, oh, yeah, you want to go back to me so you can. I mean, okay, there's reluctance. Somebody spoke out against it. I don't really care either way. I don't fault Zach Wilson for doing that. He's been mistreated by the Jets, the fan base, everybody. I know he hasn't been good. I get it. And I'm not sure he ever will be good. All I'm just saying is the treatment is unfair. That's all I was saying. So we'll see where this goes. He gives him a fighting chance.
Just wait. Wait until next year when Aaron Rodgers plays and he's not the guy that you used to sing about.
Right.
And he's not, and he throws a few interceptions. Just wait until he's the one who's feeling the wrath of Fireman Ed. Wait until he's the one that people are leaking stuff about. Because, here's what happens. This is law of the jungle stuff. When you let people know what gets under your skin, you know what's going to happen when they're looking for ways to get under your skin. It's going to be leak about Aaron Rodgers because, oh, man, he's going to lose his shit during a press conference. He's going to go on McAfee, and he's going to create some more content that we can continue to throw into this media machine that we're just churning and churning and churning. That's what you get when you take a job with the New York Jets. That's what you get when you're in that market. And I just wonder whether he just didn't think of that or this was his best opportunity. I don't know. I just think you have to be part of it and live in it to truly appreciate it. He went a generation in Green Bay where it's the exact opposite of what it is in New York.
Yeah.
And he's getting a taste of it, and he's not even playing. Just wait till next year. Mark my words. When unless he's great, unless he's Aaron Rodgers MVP and never makes a mistake, he starts making mistakes, and it's going to be leak, and he's going to lose his mind.
I don't disagree. We'll see where that goes. We'll see. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff here for the Jets, 4-8, how they look, how they finish, what the off-season will be like, Rodgers, Salah, Hackett, that whole situation, where I would have said 4 weeks ago, it doesn't matter, they're all coming back because of the Rodgers thing. Like I said, it's teetering on enough issues here where maybe not even Rodgers begging Woody Johnson to bring back that crew is going to be enough, and that's where they need to be careful. They do. So
dysfunctional
hopefully
teams
they can
do
finish
dysfunctional
strong.
things.
Yeah. Right.
Dysfunctional teams do dysfunctional things, and I could see Woody Johnson thinking, yeah, I'll just fire Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas, and I've got Aaron Rodgers to dangle here as an inducement to bring in an all-star cast. Yeah, you're not. No, that's an impediment. 1 year with Aaron Rodgers where he thinks he runs the show is not going to attract great talent to New York. You may think it will. It's not going to do it. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.